Hello, hello Aries. Welcome to your September 2018 overview reading. This is good for you if you're a sun, moon, or rising Aries. And while I'm pulling these cards, go ahead, tune in with your body, see if there's anything that you want to have come up today, or if there's anything that you're needing guidance on. Just go ahead and set your intention. Okay. And then I just want to give a quick thank you to each and every one of you who works with me. You guys are what make this channel possible, and I so appreciate you. And last one that I'm pulling. Okay. First thing coming up for Aries, lack of passion is fatal. Now, I know that a lot of people struggle with this. The idea of passion, if that's not something that comes to you naturally or that's fallen into your lap, I want to be clear that it takes dabbling. Like, you have to try things out. You have to explore. This doesn't mean that if you're not feeling passionate, you can't find it. It's something that can be abstract or it can be concrete. So don't put yourself in a box around passion. Just know that it is a fuel for you. Being Aries, that's exactly what it is that you need to really push yourself forward. So this is just reminding you to explore the fringes of where passion lies for you. And it doesn't have to make sense. It doesn't have to be a specific activity. It doesn't have anything to do with work necessarily. You know, you're fortunate if you can blend the two together, but it's not a requirement. So think outside of the box with this, because we can all find where our passions lie. It just takes some exploration. And then the word of the month, you guys, if you've been on my channel for a while, you know how these cards work. There's one word with 3 phrases. One might resonate more than the other. So just pay attention to your intuition. Restriction. Limitations may actually be creative opportunities. Choose helpful constraints to make the big idea real. Don't be fooled by others' limiting beliefs. Okay, I love that last one. Other people's can'ts don't necessarily mean that you can't. And then the spirit animal card for you is elephant. This is all about root work this month. Really taking time to sink into how you're developing resources, healing any root chakra wounds. This also is going to be a great time to spend some time with family and friends, the people that you feel closest to. And then I'm also pulling a relationship card. This applies to you no matter what, no matter if you're interested in a relationship, not interested, already partnered, not partnered. So you have teamwork. I'm determined to be a good teammate in all of my relationships. If we disagree, I'll resist the urge to place blame and look for a way to solve the problem together. When we're a team, everything is a game. And when we're on the same side, nobody can lose. Not even the Cubs. Finally, that's what it says in the fine print down at the bottom. Yeah, so it's all about building, reminding yourself that you can actually build with other people. It's not always a competition. I know. But it's just reminding you that working together is better than just pushing through and carving everything out as being your way. All right. So this spread, you might recognize it. It is the Maslow's hierarchy of needs spread that I decided to do a few months ago. So we're going to start with resources, money, and finance. This is all of your material resources that you need, like food, water, shelter, all of that good stuff. So let me see what's coming up for Aries first. We have the 9 of Torches. So this is about effort. Like, how are you progressing forward? How are you making things happen? in terms of your resources, this is also going to be a month of yang energy for you. So really using that fire to your advantage. It seems like this is going to be an up period for Aries. Like if you want something, pursuing it is going to be a good strategy. As you guys know, the way that I read, sometimes there's a better use for more of the yin side of things, but this really looks like you're needing to go out there and get what you need. And then we also have the star. So things are coming together even if you can't see it quite yet, even if it doesn't make sense. All of the work going on behind the scenes is really paving the way for you to get what you want and what you need. I wouldn't stress about the end result or the outcome of things too much this month. It's just going to bog you down. And so if you can find a way to trust a little bit more, continuing to put in effort where it feels good for you, and then trusting that there's payoff. You know, sometimes it's like if you're working for something big, if you're digging yourself out of a hole, it's not easy. Like I completely empathize with that. So just remember, it's not always easy. Yes, mindset helps. Yes, there's a lot of things that can help mitigate that resistance. But it is a time to not give up. It's like when things get hard, that's not a time to just flop over. So just remember that even if you're in one of those situations, you kind of have to see it through. And then we also have the tower. Oh, that's what I was talking about. Okay, so it is like that breakdown happening, whatever you're breaking down around, whatever is being deconstructed in your resources is exactly what you need to actually get your needs met. So it's kind of like something isn't working. The tower only pops up when something in your life isn't working and it kind of needs to get swept away so that you can rebuild in that area. That's why you have the elephant coming up. That's about root. All of that healing that you're doing around your root, that's also where the tower is coming up. So it's just about, you know, giving effort where it makes sense, giving effort in the areas that you can control that are good for you. And then, you know, the other part is trusting. And it's kind of like if you're in a position where you don't fully trust your higher power, been there, you know, it can make it more challenging, but that's kind of the lesson that's shining through in all of this. And then we also have the high priestess. So really trusting in the nudges that you're getting. Is there some random thing like, oh, I should go for a walk right now, or I should reach out to this old friend. If you're getting weird intuitive hits about taking certain actions, listen to that, because there's a lot of stuff that's going to come up there. Just don't shut it out. It's kind of like you want to embrace all of that information that's coming through, because it's going to help with all of this other stuff you're trying to make happen. Okay, and then this row is about relationships. So think community, friendships, romantic relationships. For Aries this month, we have the King of Feathers. So it looks like you're really having to go out on a ledge and do things on your own. Let me see what else is coming up. We have Judgment. And then I'm going to pull the last one so I can get the full picture of what's going on. Ace of Rocks. Or the Ace of Pentacles in a normal deck. This is really about getting clear on what it is that you want and need in relationships. That's always the first part. And then it's kind of like the Ace of Rocks is the initiation. Once you identify, you have to start communicating. You have to start asking for it. So it's kind of like when you have the clarity of mind, that's what the King of Swords is good at. You're very, very focused on, okay, this is what I'm needing, because that is your responsibility. That is something that you have to do for yourself in relationships. It is not other people's responsibility to be telepathically understanding of what you need. Your responsibility is identifying and then expressing. So It's about being concrete. That's what the Judgment card is here to clarify. Like, you want to be concrete about this, about whatever it is that you need, and then initiate. You know, start communicating, start expressing, start working towards that as best as you can. I'm going to pull a clarifier for this just to see specifically the King of Feathers, because that's kind of the King of Independence. The Emperor. So you kind of have to claim what you want first. You have to own that first before anything can actually happen. So it's like you have to aim at something. In your friendships, in your relationships, it's going to be a good time to kind of go back to the drawing board and figure out what you want. And if you're asking for things that are actually working for you and that are really in alignment with what you need. Okay, now up here, this is like career, success, ambition, more of the like achievement section. So what you're striving towards, we have the Two of Feathers. I think there might be some like navigating and decision making that you're trying to figure out with your pursuits and with your goals. I get a sense that it might be a little hiccup in the resources or in the opportunities or something like that, because I'm getting called back to this tower down here, which is kind of like, okay, if there's a rupture here, it's kind of like this is where you want to patch things up first before you start going full steam ahead into this. Let me see what the next card is. We have the Moon, so feeling a little bit confused, not having everything put together, not being entirely clear on what it is that's working for you or what it is that you want. So there's a little bit of like this daydreamy, I don't know, I can't see, I'm because that's what this is being blind. I just think that you have a big transition going on in terms of identifying, again, what you want. That's also why you have the Passion card coming up and just figuring out what it is that feels good to you and what's right for you. So the clarifier is the Five of Wands, so kind of having some, not combative energy, but some conflicting energy in terms of what it is that you're desiring. It might not all make sense right now. That's honestly, I would not count on September to be the month where you figure everything out. It might just be a month where you're seeking clarity and you're seeking alignment, and you're figuring things out. But I think that the Tower's coming up to slow you down so that you have time and space to figure this out. That's the whole purpose, is you have to have all these lessons and they layer on top of each other so that you can get to the point where you are really clear and moving in a direction that feels good to you. Now, this is the area of self-actualization, creativity. We have the Fool. So it's kind of like this, you're rebuilding from the ground up. And so it's kind of like that's going to be a whole different experience compared to what you're kind of expecting to happen or what you think should happen or how it should go. This is all working in your favor. I just think that it's one of those things where you're really getting called to do work around your needs, wants, desires, and then making sure you're asking for those. It's kind of like you're getting a crash course in the basics, and it's not a bad thing. Not at all. You have to do this. It would suck if you just dove into a new project and then ended up changing your mind, or like you applied to a school and then changed your mind and it didn't actually feel good to you, or you get neck deep into this job that you really can't stand. So take the time and space in September that you're being given, because it's serving you, I promise. Okay, and as always, we're doing the timeline now. So we have the first quarter of September, second, third, and fourth quarter. First thing coming up is the Knight of Feathers, and so this is just about your ideas. This is action and focus. Those are the words that are there at the bottom. And it's kind of like you are in a little bit more of a scavenger mode. I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's warranted. I think it's needed. And so you just kind of want to honor that process, because you have to kind of go through the ideas and the creative process first so that you can actually make headway into the direction that is right for you. Quarter 2, we have the Four of Acorns, comfort and community. This is when you start to identify and feel into what it is that you want in your home life, going back to the spaces in your home where you're feeling comfortable. Are you in a comfortable space? Have you created something for yourself that feels really good, that feels aligned, that feels connected to you? It's kind of like calling you to focus on whatever it is that's going on at home, and that's going to make a big difference in the way you feel and how you rebuild. So when I say home, that can mean anything. It can mean a room. It can mean any space that you reside in. I know that people like to criticize when I say home, like even that's too radical of a word. So yeah, make yourself a space, and yes, a home that you enjoy, and that is that's what's gonna push you forward. So you have to create that for yourself. Remember this. It's not something that you get or you don't get. It's kind of like it's something that you create, that you go after, that you find ways to obtain. And then third quarter, we have the Three of Crystals, collaboration, productivity, and this is where you really start to build, like things start to move forward and you really see some major progress in terms of what you're able to make happen, what's feeling good for you, what it is that's aligned. And this is really where things pick up, because it seems like if you take time here to really work and fine tune your vision, what you want long term, what feels good, what doesn't, what fits, what doesn't. And then by this time, if you have any type of stable foundation, then you're going to be sitting in a position where you can take action. And then wrapping up the month, we have shaman, so divine wisdom, spiritual power. And this is where it's going to require the trust piece. This is where it kind of has the same feeling as the star. Like, even if you can't see what lies ahead, that is absolutely okay. Not putting pressure on seeing the end result, like just putting one foot in front of the other and trusting your own power. Remember, you're a powerful person. I know that it's easy to forget that. It's easy to look at the fails rather than the wins. And, you know, it's kind of like you want to remind yourself of times when you have overcome a lot. That's what's going to give you the energy that you need to propel forward. Okay, now we're doing a 3-card pick. Pick a card, any card. Ask a question if you'd like, whatever you're needing in this moment. And card number 1, the Director. Again, we have this idea of power. It's very easy to feel powerless over a situation. So it's kind of up to you whether or not you want to take personal power back, however you can, independently, ethically, and safely. You know, taking power back for yourself. This is an internal journey. It is not something that you externally do. It's what can you do today to make this a little bit easier on yourself. Okay, then card number 2, we have the Empress. So this is definitely more of the archetype of the mother. Having compassion for yourself is probably the best thing that you can do. Being hard on yourself is not going to help. So if you sit and beat yourself up and just aren't gentle with yourself at all, it's kind of like you're gonna get lost in that energy of being mean to yourself. So it's really important not to get stuck there. Easier said than done, but it's just about kind of taking on that maternal compassion for yourself. And then card number 3, 4 of Pentacles. Be conservative with your energy this month. Don't give it all away. You don't have to give it to other people, especially if you have tendencies to be codependent or like be a caretaker for other people. Then you really want to start doing work around that, because you're putting yourself in a position to be like taken advantage of, or for things to not go your way. It's going to make things harder if you're giving all of your energy away. So it's time to take some of that back for yourself and kind of work through anger, frustration, guilt, whatever feelings are coming up for you. Okay, so that is all that I have for you today, Aries. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today. And until next time, I hope you have a beautiful September. Don't forget, if you want to work with me one-on-one, you're welcome to check out all of the links in the description box. And yeah, you can get single questions, tarot spreads, one-on-one sessions with me, whatever it is that you are interested in. And I will talk to you all later. Have a good one. Bye-bye.